Na mtazamaji, shukran kwa kusalia kwenye Kivumbi 2022. Hapa ndipo ambapo tunakupeperushia matukio yote yanayohusiana na uchaguzi wa hapo kesho. Tukiwa tayari tumepata hotuba kutoka kwa mwenyekiti wa Tume ya IEBC Wafula Chebukati kuhusiana na mustakabali wa mambo yalivyo wakati uchaguzi unapotarajiwa hapo kesho. Vile vile baadhi ya mambo yameenda mrama na tume hiyo imekuwa wazi katika kuweza kutangaza pale ambapo kumekuwa na mushkili. Sasa hivi naarifiwa kwamba kwenye ukumbi wa Bomas mwanga wa amani unawashwa saa chache kabla ya kura kupigwa hapo kesho. Labda tuelekee huko moja kwa moja uweze kupata picha hizo kikamilifu mtazamaji.
You are provided with, and while you are here you'll have an opportunity, the copy that you are given, to check against the originals that will be brought by the RO as well. Okay. Where? Now you are seated. I have said 2 seats here are for 2 agents. Those other 2 seats are for the other 2 agents. Okay? And there are 5 desks replicated the same. Yeah. At any time, you need to have 5 people here. Yeah. Are you a presidential agent? Okay. Can she finish? Yes.
I was finding out what time will this desk be set tomorrow? Do you set it at exactly 5 or 6 o'clock, or is it open the whole day?
We will communicate to you exactly when the setup. Of course, the result transmission will begin very late.
Yes.
Tomorrow. There may be no activities tomorrow. The Form A, Form B, and the arrows will be probably traveling overnight.
Yes.
They are finished and you can only come here and use the place. But tomorrow evening we should be setting up this and we will be in touch with the chief agents.
Yes.
For purposes of coordinating the setup.
Okay. Now, in view of the ruling that has been given today in court, we are assuming there are certain issues you will reorganize at the constituency and the polling station levels. Maybe it's important you give us a communique on it so that we can also talk to our agents on what they should expect the POs and the returning officers to do when they get to the stations tomorrow. And since there is a very short time within which to transition, in view of the ruling, maybe the chair yourself can give us a direction on that.
We had a press briefing this afternoon, and amongst the activities that were addressed includes the Court of Appeal ruling today. Essentially, we're referring to what we were to do prior to the High Court ruling, and that will be communicated after this to all our officers across the country. Okay. That is the Court of Appeal ruling of 2017. We are reverting back to that. It will be used as and when the KIMS kits completely fails to work. Okay?
All right, so it looks like we are done here.
Okay, he has a question.
About the process here?
Just about, my name is Dr. Nyangasi, I'm with Azimio. Just about some clarity on the process of resolution or capturing the concerns from this process. So maybe you can give a guideline on that. Should our queries be written queries? How will you resolve those issues that may emerge?
We will be all here. The chair, the presidential returning officer, will be seated up there. I will be in charge of this floor, and we have a team of officers here. So in the event that there will be any discrepancy, it will be resolved here because all the originals will be here. You will have access, an API access to the results digitally. We expect you to come with your own digital downloads. And we will also, in addition, give you photocopies of the results, both A and B. You are free to counter-check, and based on the standard protocol that the results as announced at the polling station is final, it becomes the reference document for all of us to check and correct any anomaly. So we will resolve issues on this table. Okay?
Just to add that we have gazetted the results management framework, results path, which outlines the processes we shall be undertaking here. The Commission said the results at polling station is final. If there's any error, then we shall note in an error form, and the event of any presidential election petition, that error form plus that particular 34A will be submitted to the Supreme Court. So we shall not change anything as relates to 34A, but just not in an error form if there's such an error. I think we are clear on that, but the Gazette notice for that should be out in the course of today or maybe tomorrow. Please look at it, because that is the results path which we are going to follow to the letter. Thank you.
So, is there any other question?
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Jackson Awele. I'm with the Azimio team. Allow me to digress just slightly to a question that is analogous to the issues we're discussing here. We're having a bit of problems with accreditation of our agents at the polling stations. And I would like to make a request that you consider allowing agents in polling stations who are able to prove that they've been appointed by their respective political parties to the various polling stations. We have a problem with some of your officers confusing Azimio as a coalition and not as a party. And so some of our people are being told that the accreditations have been picked up by, say, ODM or Jubilee, and yet Azimio is not really a coalition, it's a political party. So what we're requesting is that, provided the number permitted in a polling station has not been exceeded, please permit our agents who have appointment letters and oaths of secrecy to access polling stations, because the logistical nightmare that we are currently facing with that accreditation it may actually prevent a lot of our agents from accessing your stations.
May I also rein in on that issue? We've had a very big challenge today in many counties where the returning officers have not given accreditation badges to our polling station agents. We would request you to clarify to the returning officers across the whole country how our agents are going to access badges. Those are agents at the polling station level, constituency, county, the ones that are representing the presidential candidates, and it's a very huge area of concern. If a directive can be given and a direction given, it will be very important so that we don't have any confusion before we start tomorrow. I think it's a question that should be addressed here.
I think
agents accessing polling stations is a right. The Commission will not deny them. We've not received that complaint through our call center. You've just brought it to our attention, and I hear you also wrote it. It's good that both parties are here complaining of the same thing, so that we are not being accused of favoring one against the other. But the issue will be addressed. We will ensure that duly accredited agents and the accreditation process is as explained in the regulations. So duly accredited agents will be allowed access to polling stations, and they will be given their accreditation badges. The county managers, we will be talking to them right away, 47 of them, to follow it up with the 290 returning officers in the various constituencies. Okay.
we're also aware of the cases where officers are refusing agents who don't have a logo on the document. What do you call that document? Not the appointment letter, the oath. Yeah, so we shall direct them accordingly because it's a document that you can extract from the statutory form. It doesn't have to have an IEBC logo. Yeah, but we shall direct them accordingly. It's, Prof, I think that should be the last question. But I'm seeing you with a big book.
Actually, I'm going to cite your own document. It was generated by you. Thank you, Ben Sihanya. And my question is related to the issue of the results path, which you have mentioned here on the other side, and specifically 34A and 34B. 34A, I think everything looks clear, and in the Gazette notice that you issued on 3rd August, that was issued coming from IEBC content on 3rd August, there is clear indication of that how 34A will be generated and how it will be processed. Very clear. And it relates to previous briefings that you gave. However, 34B, how it will be generated, is not quite dealt with here. And while I think there has been a correct mention just now that there will be 34A and 34B here. 34B coming from the constituency for presidential. But the path and how it will be generated at those levels, at constituency, and the role of agents, the role of the returning officer, the role of agents and stuff like that, which were debated. We debated it the other side, I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago, is not very clear in your Gazette notice. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I was just being reminded that before I answer your question, our county election managers, our constituency returning officers have been given a soft copy of accreditation form. And so as they turn up, they will be required to fill the form and provide the documentation required, then they will be given badges, okay? On the issue of 34B, 34B is actually a tally of the 34As.
Na mtazamaji, ni tume ya IEBC kutoka ukumbi wa Bomas ikijibu tu maswali ya mawakala ama ukipenda maajenti kutoka vyama mbalimbali kuhusiana na kauli yao hapo awali baada ya kutubia vyombo vya habari kuhusiana na baadhi ya maeneo kuahirishwa uchaguzi, ikiwemo maeneo ya Kakamega na vile vile Mombasa, ukiwa uchaguzi wa gavana umeahirishwa, na vile vile pia kwenye maeneo bunge vile vile ya Kachiliba na vile vile Pokot Kusini kuahirishwa kufuatia kuchapishwa vibaya kwa baadhi ya makaratasi ya wagombea wa viti hivyo. Na vile vile pia kumekuwa na hisia mbalimbali ambazo zimeibuka. Tutakuwa tunaungana na Alan Ochanda kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega, ikiwa kaunti ya Kakamega, Ochanda, ni miongoni mwa kaunti ambazo zimeathirika na kauli mpya ya IEBC kufuatia kuahirishwa kwa uchaguzi wa ugavana kwenye kaunti hiyo ya Kakamega. Na vile vile pia tumeona baadhi ya wagombea kwenye kiti cha ugavana wakiwa tayari wametoa